I'm gonna
And I
try
just
to
want to
mash a
say,
few of the ones I have left on my list together, not because they're any less interesting, but because they tend to fall in the same vein of
okay.
high, turn off your brain, high action, not a whole lot of like depth, shonen. So the first one I want to talk about is Drifters, which was originally
Hmm.
manga by Kota Hirano, and for those who may know that name, it's the same guy behind Hellsing, which is also a recommendation. Even though I'm not going to go too deep into that, anybody who was watching, Toonami or Adult Swim, 10 years ago, 5, 10 years ago, knows that there was an absolutely excellent. Well, there's two really good adaptations for Hellsing that are out there. The most recent one being Hellsing Ultimate, which is a much more faithful uh, adaptation of the manga. The original Hellsing anime was produced before the original manga finished its run, so it kind of has its own arc, but it's also really cool. But Drifters is a science fiction and fantasy isekai, but don't let that isekai fool you because but you forget about that very quickly. Essentially, it follows a bunch of historical warriors, leaders, figures pulled out of time into a fantasy world when they basically are fighting to the death. I know that there is a manga series that's running now that is very similar in overall concept, which my mind is blanking on at the moment. But this one is more about the war side and less about the 1v1 combat. It's over the top. The animation style is incredibly distinctive. It's bloody.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of horrible things happen, but it's also super cool. I'm not gonna get too deep into like the plot because who cares? You just want to see your faves from history take each other out. I mean, where else are you gonna see a World War II era Japanese zero ace shooting dragons out of the sky while the Marquis de Sade leads an army of dwarves to storm a entire country that was originally set up by Adolf Hitler. It's a crazy series. It doesn't need to make a lot of sense because it just goes with rule of cool. So that's a strong recommend, just for shonen.